"Are you all right?" shouted Schmidt. "Where is the Sherman?" "Gone, sir," Schmidt shouted. "Left with the rest." Curl nodded to show he understood. "Bring me the engineer." The sergeant's face registered surprise. He shook his head again. "Time for that later, sir. You need a hospital." "Bring him," Curl repeated, his voice tinged with iron. He was probably screaming through the roar in his ears, but he didn't care. "Now, Schmidt." The sergeant hesitated for a second, and then nodded. He turned and gave commands to another soldier, who took off toward the infantry position. Curl stepped over his Ferdinand. The armored vehicles had rumbled back into the park with the Americans' departure. He leaned both elbows on the base, resting and fighting against the vertigo. A few minutes later, he saw the messenger returning with an NCO in tow. The sergeant for assault engineers stood at attention before Curl. The man was papier-mâché with a hard veneer. The captain was sure he could crush him with a single downward swing of his fist. The soldier's face was pale, and his eyes wide. He must have been forewarned. "You are the man who blew the bridge?" the captain asked, trying to control his brimming fury. "Jawohl," the sergeant answered without looking up. "Did you receive my order to leave the structure intact?" "I did, sir, but—" "Speak up! I can't hear you." "Jawohl." "Then why didn't you do it?" screamed Curl. "I gave a direct order, and you disobeyed." "Did you see the force they had, sir? Let me explain." "I don't care what you think they were going to do," shouted Curl. He fumbled for his holster. "No, sir," interjected Schmidt. He stepped forward swiftly and placed a firm hand on the Hauptmann's wrist. "Let me go," ordered Curl. Schmidt tightened his grip, pulling the captain's hand away from the holster. Curl turned, his eyes blazing, focusing on his command sergeant. "Get your damned hands off me," he insisted. Schmidt shook his head. "Sir, you can't. He screwed up. He thought he was doing the right thing. You can punish him, sir, but not that." Curl still struggled, but Schmidt would not release his grip. He felt the blood rushing to his head and the dizziness returning. "Please, sir, you've never done that before, even with everything that's happened to us." "He disobeyed a direct order." "I know he did, sir." Schmidt leaned in. "But he didn't kill your sister." The sergeant pleaded these last words. Curl reeled at the statement, his anger draining out of him. He fought his sergeant half-heartedly for another moment, then dropped his hand. He couldn't take much more of this. He needed medical treatment and a little rest. "You're right," he admitted. He turned to the engineer. "I want you out of my sight and out of my unit. You are relieved immediately and will return to the regiment. You will wait there in arrest until I've had time to submit a report. Do you understand?" "Yes, sir. I'm sorry." "I don't want to hear it. Get out of here now before I change my mind." The sergeant gave a vigorous salute and retracted swiftly from the Hauptmann. Curl breathed in and out, leaning against his Ferdinand. He was exhausted from anger and frustration. "We've lost them. Those bastards killed Goethe, and I won't be able to revenge her now." "You got some of them, sir." "A handful. I had them all. If that Schweinhund had followed orders, I'll peel the skin off his body when we get back to HQ. It's going to have to be enough. I can't imagine they would try to cross the mine again." Schmidt placed his hand on the captain's shoulder. "You did your duty, sir. As always, we stopped them. Now let's go home and take care of Goethe." Curl thought about his sister. He would have to claim her body and assist with